the first Taroom sign I've seen, and it is 50 kilometres away. I hit a kangaroo, and when I told Miss Buttons, this is what she said.
Is the kangaroo okay? And did you check its pouch?
I don't care about the kangaroo, and no, I didn't stop to check its pouch. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that this is not the first kangaroo I've hit. Probably the first one I've caught on camera, and I've had a few where I've been able to show you the aftermath of hitting kangaroos. I've had a long-held theory that the kinetic energy of a motorcycle, 2 spinning wheels, the weight, probably in this instance, better part of 350 kilos, travelling at 80 kilometres an hour, is an incredible amount of force. And slamming the brakes on is often the worst thing to do. It's the same theory I have in a car. People who swerve to avoid kangaroos or wildlife in a car are asking for trouble because you're trying to change the direction of a huge amount of mass. So my theory is brace, power on or maintain the power, and let the energy of that moving mass keep you straight. And in this instance, that's actually what happened. It doesn't mean it didn't freak me out, and I was looking for the tar as quickly as possible. By the time I hit the sealed section, I was still about 20 kilometres from Taroom, and I was freaking out. I was on high alert for wildlife, for livestock, for anything that was moving that would potentially put me in danger. Fortunately and very gratefully, I made it into Taroom. I made it to the hotel. I checked in. I had a great warm shower, and then I got changed. I went over to the pub, had a fantastic steak. Now it was probably, probably in hindsight not a great steak, but because I was hungry, I was cold, and I was alive, it was the best meal of my life. Bottle of red wine, and then I went back to my room, air conditioner on warm, and I had a great night's sleep. No damage from the roost strike, which is good. Geez, I went through some mud last night. It just didn't show up on the camera because it was dark. But that was stupid what I did last night. That was just, I mean, I didn't die, so it's a good thing, but broke all my own rules. Now I gotta find somewhere to get some coffee. The food here is fantastic at the Hotel in Taroom. Food was phenomenal. I had one of the best steaks I've had in a long time. Idiot. Alright, I've got to get home. Taroom. Very nice. I'm going to figure out how to get home. I've got to get some fuel first. Yeah, I got in, what a night that was. What a night. It's the Leichhardt Hotel. And there's the survey. Let's get some fuel and then work out what we're doing. Hey, good morning, big bikers! Well, it is a ride day today. Yeah, well, so yesterday was a very interesting day. I did everything wrong. So it's what's the time? 9:15. A little bit late getting away, but I'm only going home, and I'm going. All the mistakes I made last night won't be repeated today. So the mistakes I made yesterday, and I pointed them all out, Kilcoy, and I said there's 4 things that are going to be a problem for me. One's going to be riding into the sunset at the time of night when there's wildlife coming out, and I'm going to be riding into a very strong headwind and very, very tight on fuel. So I was able to move one of those things in my favour by getting fuel at Nango yesterday, and I made it with the fuel I came on as I entered into Taroom last night. Cruise control, heated grips are on, heated seats on. I've got a really strong crosswind this morning. What happened last night? I knew I was going to be getting in late. But I thought I could probably get there by 5:30. I barely got there by 6:30. It was like 20 past 6 by the time I got there. I was riding on unfamiliar roads in the dark. I rode about 90 kilometres in the dark last night. About 50 of that was off-road, and that's when I hit the road. Now, fortunately, there was no damage, but just talk about scaring the crap. So it was raining last night, not heavy, but it was just enough to wet the road, and it was enough to make everything slippery, and it was enough. I rode through some mud puddles last night, but I just didn't see them in the dark, and I hit a couple of mud puddles, and man, I thought I was going down. That was actually worse than hitting the Roo. The Roo just gave the wheel a little cinch like that, but I had enough centrifugal energy in the wheel just going straight ahead, and I'm glad I had a camera on. Bloody great riding, I tell you, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed. I was very annoyed at myself this morning for doing something so stupid, because I generally like to err on the side of safety, but that was way outside the bounds of what I would normally do. So this morning I'm just going to burn up a few hundred, probably about 150 k's I'm going to burn up on the black stuff. There's a really big weather system going through Brisbane last night. Yeah, see what I mean by there's that much water just sitting on the side of the road. Yeah, they've obviously had quite a bit of rain, so I'm kind of not really keen to head off into the off-road portion if it's going to be like that. So I think I might just slab at home. Nice little ride for the weekend, but defeated by the weather. As you can see from the amount of standing water on the side of the road, it just, that whole area through there is just black soil, which turns into soap when it's wet. So there was no way I was going to be going and putting myself at risk, especially after the adventures that I'd had the night before. So I'm kind of just thinking now I might just blast the highway, get home, get the bike cleaned up, and start making the video. So that's basically what's happened the rest of the day. I just trundled down the highway and came across a couple of Africa twins on the last stretch into town. So if I don't know, I didn't recognise them or their bikes, but if you're on the channel, say g'day. Thanks for watching.